Travis was probably had the biggest heart of most anybody that anybody has ever met. I mean, people still talk about that, the good friend that he was to everybody. He was the kind of person who would enter a room and energize the room just with his smile and his joking around and his love for music. He just had a spark for life. In fact, his favorite quote was, "Life's possibilities are endless." And unfortunately, he did not get to realize. When he was little, he liked what normal kids do, is skateboarding, rollerblading. He was real active in Scouts, so he did a lot of camping, anything that had to do with the outdoors. He also, as he got older, did motocross and was very active in that as well. Travis and I had a very close relationship. He read me like a book. Our birthdays were a day apart, so he was always my birthday present every year. Still is. We were just very close. I just really can't even put it in words. He was 19. When he passed away, he was 19. We just had a very, very close relationship in that he could read me like a book. I mean, from the time he was a little kid, he could look at me and even ask me what's going on. And of course, as a parent, sometimes you have things going on and you don't want to tell your children. And he would say, "Oh, come on, I know something is going on." It's like we could read each other. We were that tight. Just emotionally, I don't know if it's the mother and son thing, but just, I was always there for him. He was always there for me. Well, he was at the Oklahoma State University. He was a freshman majoring in business, so he wanted to get a business degree and then pursue life. He was very interested in real estate and thought that maybe he would want to do something in business pertaining to real estate. Travis had been at a party with some friends, and he was the designated driver. So there was 4 of them, came back to Coppell, where we live, and dropped off the first passenger, who was his date, and then dropped off the other couple at his friend's house. And after that, Travis told his friend, he was going to go for a drive. And I was out of town at the time with my daughter. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and the point that I was out of town to me is important in that I always would call him after midnight and say, "Where are you? It's time for you to come home." He was certainly of age not to have to be called, but I always waited up for him. And that night I wasn't home, waiting up for him. So he went on the drive, and on the road he was on, it's a very heavily trafficked road during the day, but at night it's pretty still. So I think that he had a false sense of confidence that nobody was going to be out there. And he was texting, and actually he was texting the kids that he had just dropped off. And he was looking down, and a truck, 18-wheeler, turned in front of him, and his car went underneath the 18-wheeler and sheared the top off. The first thing I would tell any teenager is that they are not invincible, that accidents do happen, and that when you have that false sense of security that somehow you are going to escape it, just when you believe that, something is going to catch you by surprise. And hopefully you won't lose your life, but many teenagers, adults, have lost their lives. And I think the thing most people don't realize is the impact that it has on everyone. And I'm not just talking about parents, because certainly that's the worst loss any parent could ever suffer. But I see it in his friends. It hurts me, and it hurts them. And they realize it now. But I think that most teenagers don't realize that until they have been affected by the loss of someone who has impacted their young lives. I've seen a change in their cell phone use because it's a reminder. That cell phone is a reminder that Travis is no longer with them. And I know my daughter, if she is in the car with someone and they start using their phone, she will tell them to put it down and or let her drive if they need to be using their phone. Well, I think it's a healing process for me. I don't want Travis's life to be in vain. I want for people to understand that driving is a privilege, it's a responsibility. When we are distracted, if anybody's ever distracted behind the wheel, they take the jeopardy of impacting other people's lives. And with that comes, again, that responsibility of making a wise choice behind the wheel. And when they are there, they need to just focus on driving and nothing else. We used to do that before cell phones, and we got from point A to point B without having to be in communication with people. We can still do that. Distracted driving kills. Safe driving starts with you.